I genuinely believe that babies are highly sensitive to the spiritual realm because they come right from heaven to earth when they're born. And I believe what happens is over time, as they get older, they just forget about their experience in heaven. But I'm going to tell you why. So I have two boys, and they're almost 2 years apart, not fully 2 years. They're like a year and a couple of months. But when I was probably like 3 days pregnant with my younger son, I'm not even lying. My older son, who was only a year old, he had just turned 1. His birthday had just passed like a week beforehand. I'm just sitting in the room with him, and he walks up to my stomach and he touches it and he says, "Baby." And I'm like, "No, baby, this isn't baby, this is belly." I said, "This is mommy's belly." And he's like, "No, baby, baby brother." And I'm like, I was freaked out, y'all. And sure enough, a week later, I started feeling sick. I took a pregnancy test and I was expecting, and he had a little brother. And when my boys were much younger now, they're school age now, but when they were younger, they used to always like joke about how they were friends in heaven. I'm not making this up. They don't talk about it anymore, but when they were younger, they would say things like, "Remember when we were in heaven and we said that we were gonna meet each other again?" And I'm like, "What?" I just couldn't wrap my mind around the conversation that they used to have when they were younger. But also when my younger son was a little baby, he had just learned how to start talking. So what is this? Maybe around the age of 2, maybe a little bit before that. I will never forget. He would say things like, "I'm so glad I picked you to be my mommy." And I'm like, "Well, I'm glad God put us together." And he one day told me, I saw you and brother in Target and I picked you. I'm not making this up. I was like, "Well, did you see daddy there too?" He's like, "No, I saw you and brother." And this makes a lot of sense because before he was born, I spent a lot of time with just me and my older son because my husband worked overnights. So we would do like the exchange thing. I would come home from work and we would like swap roles. So while my husband would work through the evening and through the night, we wouldn't see him until the morning. And I will always do Target runs to get Pampers and food and just different things. So I spent a lot of time with my older son, just him and I, going to stores and going to Target. And the fact that this little baby told me he picked me and his brother out of Target, that sent something through my spirit. But if you think about it, life is a cycle. Older people and babies are almost one and the same. Like life is a cycle. You start off needing care. You need other people to take care of you. You depend on others. You're a baby. You wear Pampers. You need people to feed you. And as you age and age and age and age and get close to your afterlife, it's the same thing. You need people to take care of you. And I was sitting there thinking like, man, I wonder if when God creates his souls, he like sends them to earth, so they're born as a baby, and he's sending them there to see who's going to stick with him, who's going to find their way back to him, or who's going to get tainted by the world. And if you make it and you stick with him throughout the world, in your afterlife you make it back to him in heaven. That's just my thought. I don't know, tell me what you guys think. But I surely believe that babies are spiritual. And one more thing before I let y'all go, I kind of went down this rabbit hole. I saw this woman. She said her son, who was a toddler, would love to sleep in his newborn baby's bedroom, his crib. He would like to sleep in the room with his little brother. And his mom was like, "Why do you keep wanting to sleep in the room with your brother?" And she said her toddler told her, "Well, baby brother still knows how to talk to God, and I'm slowly forgetting." So yeah, you can't tell me that babies aren't straight from heaven.